What a great day for a walk today.
Things look huge out here.
They do. And because we're on this dirt area, it makes me wonder what the ants think when they look up at us as giants walking
Yeah.
around.
You know, I'll bet you this would make a really good episode. We should talk about 2 episodes today. Person or Persons Unknown, and then I kind of feel like we should talk about the little people.
It seems the perfect fit for what we're doing. And the fact that we feel so small all of a sudden,
Absolutely.
it's almost like it was made for that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of Twilight Zone reviews. A journey into a wondrous land of intoxication where a father, son, and guest drink and retell episodes of the Twilight Zone.
There is a fifth dimension.
Stay tuned because your next stop is the Highlight Zone After Hours.
The Twilight Zone.
All right, so we're going to review, as tiny people, the episode The Little People right now.
Why
Okay,
not?
The Little People, one of my favorites, was first aired on March 30th, 1962. It was written by William F. Claxton, directed by William F. Claxton, and written by Mr. Rod Serling. All right, for the intro narration, why don't you send it over to Tiny Steve? The time is a space age. The place is a barren landscape of rock-walled canyon that lies millions of miles from planet Earth. The cast of characters, you've met them. William Fletcher, commander of the spaceship. His co-pilot, Peter Craig. The other characters who inhabit this place you may never ever see, but they're out there. And as these two gentlemen will soon find out, because they're about to partake in a little exploration into that gray shaded area in a space and time that is known as the Twilight Zone. Let's go back to the studio and let's do this review as
Let's do
regular full-sized people.
I'm
all
looking
right?
forward to growing up to being a full-size person again. Being small is sort of cool, but you're always wondering who's going to step on you.
Absolutely.
Let's
All
do
right,
that.
let's go back to the studio and get to full size. Here
All
we
right,
go.
let's go. What'd you think of that adventure?
Ooh, to be big again. Man, it's glad to be back. It's glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. All right. Shot clock is engaged. We have 3 minutes. The Little People, are you ready to do it?
Let's do this.
Last time you did your retelling, we were in a cave and there were distractions and you actually got called out by a viewer on YouTube.
I failed.
So while we didn't take shots, we definitely drank, but we are ready to go. You ready for this?
Let's do this.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Let's get this going. The Little People.
The Little People.
Let's go.
A spacecraft lands in a stony canyon, and some guy climbs out. The captain of the spaceship climbs down the ladder, and he sees his co-astronauts laying against the rock wall, just lounging there, and the captain starts bitching to him because he's lazy. And the guy asks him, "Can we fix this thing?" He goes, "Yeah, I can fix this, but it's going to take a couple of days. The gimbal bearing is out, and it's too hot
I love
to
how
touch."
you remember the actual problem with the ship.
Because I actually looked up what a gimbal bearing is today.
Okay, wait,
this
save
is
this.
the most
Keep
amazing
going, here's the
thing.
clock.
I'm going to talk about that later. So anyway, the captain's sort of a dick. He's a real sort of a bully, I thought. Ooh. And the young guy is sort of a lazy ass. So you wonder, how did they survive all together? Anyway, so while the guy's fixing it, the captain, the younger guy, says, "Did you hear those voices?" And the captain says, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." So anyway, he goes back up into the spaceship, comes down the next day, and he starts working on his work table, and his buddy isn't there. The guy comes walking back through the canyon, and the captain approaches him and says, "Wait a minute, where have you been the last couple of days? You leave, you don't come back, and when you do come back, I know you haven't touched your water." The guy at first denies it, but the captain grabs his water bottle and says, "Look, you cannot be a camel. Where are you going?" And the guy says, "Okay, I'll fess up. Look what I found." And he has his MRE can, and he opens the MRE can, and it's full of green moss. The captain grabs it, looks at it, and says, "This is organic. Where'd you get this?" And he grabs this big-ass microscope, the funniest thing ever. It's like a telescope, and he looks at it and goes, "These are trees." And the guy goes, "Yeah, those are trees. I might as well tell you everything." So he opens his hand, and there's a miniature truck. And he goes, "You wouldn't believe what I found. You want to see this?" The guy says, "Yeah." So they go down this canyon, they come across this little piece of dirt with this little trickle of water, and the guy says, "This is a river, and that's a whole city." And they start looking close, and it's an aerial shot of like LA. So you've got this massive metropolis there of these little people, and you hear their voices. And so the guy says, I love this because this is what I've always wanted. I want to be the king. I want to be a god and have people worship me. And the captain's really pissed off, gets into a fight, decks him, and goes back to the ship. Well, the last scene is the ship engines fire up. The captain comes down. His cohort is nowhere to be found. He walks to this little village, and there's a statue, a life-size statue of the guy. And he's standing next to it. Yeah, look what they built for me last night. They did it all in one night. And they get into a fight again because he squishes some people with his foot. He says, yeah, they have to be controlled. The captain decks him. He goes, we're leaving in 15 minutes, come or not, I'm going. He leaves, and the ship takes off, and the young guy's sitting there, and he looks at the people, and he goes, okay, we've got to set some ground rules. There's some things that have to happen. I've already blown it. I apologize. I was close.
All right.
But, so the younger guy who's got this massive ego now with these people that he's controlling, all of a sudden he hears a whining noise, a high whistle, and he looks above, and he tells the people on the ground, this is just another spaceship. It's like this must be a gas station for spaceships. I don't know. It's really weird how this happens. But he looks up, and suddenly he sees a shadow, and he backs against the wall, and it's two astronauts speaking in English, but these are giants compared to him. And they look down, and they see him, and he starts screaming, and one of them reaches down, picks him up. But while he's picking him up, he squishes him in his hand, and the other astronaut says, looks like you killed him. B said, well, I wonder if there's more. The guy says, don't worry about it. We're just here to fix our spaceship and get on. So the other guy takes the body and throws it on the ground.
He just
lobs him on the ground, and it shows him in a pile. The very last scene is all the miniature people have taken this life-size statue. They've got ropes around it like the Lilliputians, and they pull this thing
take
over.
it down.
And that's the end, man. I
love
blew it. I blew my time.
Man, whoever that was that said that, I should have called you out on there and gave you a shout out. That's twice in a row.
Yeah, I think 3 minutes is not enough.
No,
I need
think
4.
it is enough, but you get distracted in your retelling saying other things.
Well, I do. It's the
You
gimbal
started
bearing.
with it,
Gimbal bearing.
That killed your time. So because of that, we didn't have shots. We're just doing this. These are Long Islands that are strong as shit. We're going to do like 3 solid seconds of drinking. Here we go.
Here's to the gimbal bearing.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
My gimbal is bearing.
I don't know what that means, but I like that. Can you send it over to me to do the retelling? The closing narration. The case of navigator Peter Craig, a victim of a delusion. In this case, the dream dies a little harder than a man. A small exercise in a space psychology that you can try on for size in the Twilight Zone. All right, so first things first, we went over, we drank. We're going to have to figure this out because I have my retelling is next, and I have a lot to say. There's a lot going on there.
I hope you go over by
I know you do because
minutes.
you can't be the only one. I think I feel confident about it. What's your rating on this episode?
I gave it an 8.
All right, and I gave it a 9. This has been one of my favorite ones for a very long time, and I happily rewatched this like 3 times before this episode because I love this for multiple reasons. Here's something big, and this isn't even in trivia territory yet. You guys probably recognize the main 2 stars have been in multiple Twilight Zone episodes. The captain, which you didn't like, he's the main guy from Monsters on Maple Street. The other asshole is the main guy in Third from the Sun, and they're just amazing actors, and I really enjoy them. What do you got about this one? Because I have some interesting trivia about both episodes.
I love the twist at the end where the other astronauts from another galaxy are equally as large as they were to the little people. To me, the message that sends to you is don't judge others because you have no idea what's around the next corner for you.
I think it's a great episode. I love the visual. It got me talking about it. Sarah's favorite conversation is if you had a prop from your favorite movie or series, what prop would you have? Obviously, the Mystic Seer would be one. A Talkie Tina would be great. You know what would be a really good prop is the smashed head that gets broken and then is laying on the dirt. And at the end, he picks it up and then like chucks it. Wow, I would love to know where that prop is today.
Or how about the ray gun that he uses?
Yeah, well,
that ricochets and ends up cutting that head
cutting
off.
the head right off. Okay, so here we go into some trivia real quick. these are all really interesting. I'm only picking the good trivia on these ones. The rocket launch depicted was in reality the real test flight of the Mercury Atlas booster. That was quite timely. The episode in real life, NASA's John Glenn became the first astronaut to attain Earth orbit. So at the very end, when you see the rocket going up, it looks different than the ship that you see in the episode. Massively different. It doesn't have the cute like 70s or 50s wings on the side, but they showed that that's the real one. That's John Glenn's
Our
ship.
ship is 2 Campbell's soup cans without the label put on, and then it goes to the actual rocket ship. So
Absolutely.
yeah, there's a slight difference.
Yeah. The weapons and Giants uniforms were reused from, once again, Forbidden Planet.
Yes.
One of our favorites and a very frequent... The timing of Forbidden Planet and the Twilight Zone is so perfect because they just kept on swapping shit out.
They borrowed the same
car. Are you
car,
done with
the
this? Can I
space
use
car?
the car? Can I use this? It's incredible. I love that. Along with Invaders in 1961 and Stopover in a Quiet Town, which we haven't gotten to yet, but that's in season 5 in 1964. This is one of 3 episodes to include a giant race of aliens.
The ship's destroyed. Incredible race of giants here. Race of giants. No central control.
Which I thought was a pretty cool bit of trivia because size is always something, not always, but frequently. The one when the people of 5 are waiting an exit or whatever it's called, where they turn out to be action figures inside of a bucket. All right, cool.
Enough on that. All right, sorry.
All
about
right.
that.
All right. So we agree that this is a fantastic episode. We're about to get into one that has grown on me like a fungus. I'm telling you, I have watched this episode 3 times this week just to get the kind of my bearing straight, but I have seen this one multiple times before, and that would be Persons or Persons Unknown. Season 3, episode 27. We flipped the episodes around. First aired on March 23rd, 1962, directed by John Bram, written by Charles Beaumont. That's important because one of the trivia things, if you can see, I have the chills. The trivia on this, there's one bit of trivia that I cannot wait to tell you. I can't fucking wait to tell you because it's fascinating. All right. So to do the opening narration, can you send it over my way? Cameo of a man who has just lost his most valuable possession. He doesn't know about the loss yet. In fact, he doesn't even know about the possession. Because like most people, David Gurney has never really thought about the matter of his identity. But he's going to be thinking a great deal about it from now on. Because that is what he's lost. And his search for it is going to take him into the darkest corners of the Twilight Zone. Okay, not going to lie, I kind of nailed that in the right tone that I wanted to. After multiple beverages, I think I nailed that. All right.
Hey, at least I didn't cough.
All right, David Gurney. That's true. Okay, I'm going to start the clock. Here we go. 3-minute shot clock. I'm really banking on making this one.
And I hope you go over.
I know you do. We do have to finish our drink, so it might be good if I didn't. Let's see. Is it on there? Here we go. 2, 1. All right. I'm going to keep the opinions to the end. I'm just going to straight up tell you the story. David Gurney, this guy, he's 35. I think he says 38. He wakes up in bed and his wife is laying on her side. You can't really see her. And he's like hung over as hell. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't like take my shoes off or put me in pajamas. Automatically kind of a dickhead, not who he is in reality. So he's waking up from this hangover. He's washing his face and his wife wakes up in bed and she's like, huh, who are you? And he's like, stop it. I'm not in the mood for this. I'm an hour late for work. And she's like, get out of my house. And he's like, what are you talking about? Get the hell out of I'm doing my thing. And she's like, get out of my house. So anyway, he leaves the house and he goes to work. He shows up at work and he's at a bank and he's a banker and he shows up and the first person he sees is the security guard, an armed security guard, which is kind of important. And he's like, hey, Jim, or whatever his name is. And he acts like he's never seen him and he gives him kind of this scowl and he's like, man, I feel this dude's hangover. Like, did you feel it? Like, I could feel the headache that this guy had.
Yeah. He was hurting.
Yeah, he is. So the security guard does nothing and he's like, okay. So he goes to sit at his desk and there's some other asshole there. He's like, I don't know who you are. You got to move. And he's like, what? And he goes, move out of my desk. And the guy's like, I don't know who the fuck you are. And he goes, move out of my desk. And he takes his shit and he moves it out of the way. So he sits down on the desk and he's kind of miffed now because no one's giving him like his recognition.
Well, he was intimidated because the guy in his chair got up and meekly moved away.
Yes, you're eating my clock. Okay, so he's doing his thing and he's like annoyed. And the security guard comes over and they're like, this guy's sitting at my desk. And the security guard starts getting in his face and he's like, we've known each other for 4 years. We've worked together. And he pulls his gun out. He goes, you need to move. And he goes, what is happening? So he goes outside and they're like, we're going to come outside. So they go outside. And then the wife from the beginning of the episode is now outside with police cruisers. And they're like, do you know who this guy is? And he's like, no, I don't know who he is. And he's like, no, my name is David Gurley, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, this is my wife. Here's my ID. And he takes out his wallet and his ID and every bit of credit card information is gone. And he goes over and he gets in the police cruiser. Like, we're going to take you away. They take him to an insane asylum. And the insane asylum is ran by this really cool doctor whose name I can't remember, but it's crucially important for something I want to say later. The doctor is like, dude, you don't know who you are. You're crazy. Look at this guy right here. This guy in this room, he thinks he's Winston Churchill. And he's this guy sitting in the corner, just sitting here. So anyway, they go upstairs and he's like, I got to figure out who I am. Can I use your phone? He goes, the doctor is so cool. And he's like, give me your phone. And he's like, sure. He dials it up. You know what? I blame you. You interfered with my retelling. Okay, so he gets on the phone. That was maybe a 5-second intermission. He calls, cough on your own time. He calls his wife or whoever he calls. No one answers. So then he calls his mom. And God, and you didn't even put your phone on silent. What is this episode? You're coughing at the phone. So anyway, I butchered this time. We're drinking these drinks. Okay, so he goes over and he calls and it's his mom. And he's so excited. And he's like, hey, mom, you're not going to screw this up for me. And then she doesn't know who he is. So then he's like, what the hell? So he jumps out of a plate glass window and steals a car. And the doctors, get him. So they like run around and he gets in this car and he steals this poor dude's van and he gets in the van and he drives away and he goes to a bar that he's been to every Friday night for 3 years straight. And he goes to the bartender and he orders a drink and he's doing the same thing as like, dude, you know me. And he doesn't know me. He goes, I don't understand. I never told anyone that I went to this place. So he gets him the drink and he's like, I don't really, he starts quoting who he is. He goes, do you know who I am? And he goes, of course. That picture of you were a heavyweight fighter, yada, yada, yada. He does the whole thing. Well, anyway, he mentions the pictures on the wall. And I'm slowing down because now I've fucked this whole thing up. He slows down and he pictures what he just said. He goes, a picture on the wall. So he pays his check and he hauls ass out of here and he goes to a freaking 1 hour photo place. Back then it wasn't an hour. And he goes, I have photos for you. This is my favorite part of the whole entire thing because I don't really know what the point is. He gets, not in a bad way, he gets the 8x10s in an envelope and the lady's like, here you go. And he goes, I knew I had pictures of me earlier that he calls them they. And he goes, they didn't know this. I didn't tell anybody about this. No one knew about this. So he grabs the picture and he takes it out of the sleeve and it's a freaking photo of him with his wife. He's like, done. I'm not crazy. Here's a freaking photo of me with her. He goes to go outside and opens the door and the doctor is there with police. And he's like, oh, hey, doctor, how's it going? I'm glad you're here. And the guy's like, what? So you could fake an autograph or whatever? He goes, no, an autograph could have been, a signature could have been mistaken, yada, yada. Yeah. Here's a picture of me and my wife. You can't fake this. And he takes the photo out and the wife is gone. She's gone and it's just him like this in this pose. Am I doing it right? He's kind of doing this goofy pose. Yeah, it's something like that. So then he's like, what is happening here? At this moment, he wakes up in bed again. And his wife, in the most Twilight Zone thing of all time, perfectly, you can never see her face. Perfectly in every angle. Please go and watch this just to see what they do so well. And he's like, oh my, she goes, oh, did you have a bad dream? He's like, I had a nightmare of the nightmare. You got to see this shit. It was wild. She's in the bathroom washing her face. And you can't see because the door is here and her face is over here. And then she comes out and he looks at her and he's like, who the fuck are you? And he's staring at her. She's like this blonde. She's gorgeous. And she's like, why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? Cue the exit narration. I'm just going to do that right now. Send it over my way because it's part of it. A case of mistaken identity or a nightmare turned inside out. A simple loss of memory at the end of the world? David Gurney may never know the answer, but you can be sure that he's looking for it in the Twilight Zone. Whew. All right, you were happy? I kind of think you self-destructed me on purpose.
If you think
you
went
told
like
me some
5
shit.
minutes
Oh no,
over.
believe me, I slowed down when I realized I was going to make it. That's like 3 seconds. Hold on. If you knew how much booze I put in these, you would know.
I do know.
Oh my God, that was like 4 shots.
That's good.
All right, let's unpack this.
Okay.
I have a strong opinion on this episode. It has creeped up my spine every single time I've watched it. At first, it was like a 6 because I didn't really enjoy it. Watch it again. I'm like, no, this is a 7. Then I started picking up on more things. This has ended up as an 8. And it's got one of my favorite Twilight Zone actors, and I can't remember his name. He's been in multiple. I think he's been in 3 Twilight Zone episodes, and I can't get it wrong.
Very handsome guy. This guy is...
I don't want to be a dick and look it up, but he's great.
Yeah.
And I'm bad with names.
His acting is fantastic.
His acting is what raised it up a notch.
Yep.
So, what's your rating?
I gave it an 8, just like you.
Yeah, same page. We should drink again, except I'm all out. I adore this episode. I really think it's good, and I have some really cool trivia on it. All right.
Brilliant.
One of the first instances, see, told you, on television. This is a very big deal to show people sharing a single bed. I have a question for you about this. Around this time, TV shows could only portray couples sleeping in separate beds, doing to television strict standards. In season 5's A Stopover in a Quiet Town, a very similar situation occurs. In both cases, the mom is sleeping in a man is sleeping on top of the covers and is still fully dressed, and they are hungover from a night of heavy drinking. Yeah. Do you remember your parents having separate beds?
No.
This is such a foreign thing to me that at a point in time...
This was a Hollywood movie.
It was an American
guideline.
standard. It was an American thing, let alone the Twilight Zone. It was just how it was, or not American. It was... Right. I don't understand that. It's so foreign to me that this bit of trivia is fascinating, being that they push the envelope, period.
At the beginning, where she doesn't recognize him, and at the very end, where he doesn't recognize her when he wakes her up.
Yep.
In both cases, one's under the covers, he's on top of the covers. So to think that of all movie genres that are out there, he is the one that breaks that mold.
Absolutely. And today,
one of the reasons why we have done this for the last 3
absolutely
years
like
is
today,
because he is a trendsetter.
Yeah, he paved the way so that we could be normal.
Yeah.
That's just wild. Anyway, that bit of trivia blew my mind. Okay. The 2 phone numbers that Richard Long calls are Klondike 521. This is actually super fascinating, okay? Hear me out. Richard Long, the phone numbers that he calls are Klondike 52131 and Klondike 53472. And maybe the first time in history, in entertainment history, the first time of using a 555. So when you watch movies today, because they don't want to give real phone numbers, they always say, oh, sure, my number is 602-555-1234. This is the first time that they used 555.
Okay, folks, I'm going to give you the phone number that I remember at our house when I was young. Ingersoll 6 7019.
No way, because I had to look up actually how that worked.
Ingersoll 6 7019. That's the number as a 5-year-old that I had to memorize.
Can you say it again?
Ingersoll 6 7019.
Oh my God, we got to look that shit up. That's
so
incredible.
So there you go.
With dial service, telephone numbers consist of a central office name and 5 numbers, like this: Main 2 9970. We use central office names and the additional numbers so that as many telephone numbers as possible will be available for each community.
Here's the thing I really wanted to read you. Okay.
Bring it.
The original draft of this script was so different, and it would be so good if it was a movie. Or even in this episode, but I don't know how you would do it in 30 minutes or 23. In the original draft, the doctor is treating him for his craziness, right, that's going through. And there's a moment where instead of him jumping out of a window into a stolen car and leaving, He jumps out of a window of the building down to like the 30th floor next to a homeless person, right? So the doctor, who is a very renowned doctor, is that right? Renowned? Yeah. Runs downstairs and there's no body. And he asks the homeless guy, he goes, what is going on? Didn't someone just kill themselves here? And he goes, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. You got to leave. The doctor then runs back to the hospital that he is the main guy of, that's named after him, and no one knows who he is.
Oh my God.
And he's the one that has the craziness. So I have a quick question for you here. By the way, that was a really long thing for me to repeat.
But very cool. Very unique.
It was very unique. I really adored this episode. I love that idea that it was written so differently. The idea that he pulls the photo out and you see that he's not crazy for a second. Because from the beginning, all we see is him waking up in bed. You have no idea if it's real or if he's nuts. He pulls out the picture and you see it's real. So we as viewers know it's real. I think that it's something like The Matrix, where someone's overseeing everything and it's a game and realizes, hey, they did fuck this up. There's a photo, because how is it possible that he shows a photo, puts it back, and then 38 seconds later, the picture's altered?
All right.
I think that there's someone watching and fucking with this guy's life.
Here's my answer to that.
Go ahead.
We've talked before, in your generation, where you're accustomed to these very intricate, complex, multiverse kind of nonsense. And I go back to the age-old, think of Rod, think of the time that it was done.
Yes.
And here's my answer to that. When he pulled that photo out, in the eyes of our star, he thought he saw her there. He put it back in because he's psychotic. He's delusional. He pulls it out again in front of the psychiatrist and the doctor or the policeman, and of course it's just him. So I think that what they're telling you is, in his mind, she was real. No. But in reality, she wasn't there.
Man, I totally read it differently. This is why I love that.
That's why we do this. I will add this at the very end. She recognizes him, and he is her husband. So he must have a job in that alternate life. Whatever it is, he functions, they have a home, he's got a wife. I would add this to all of you viewers, and I encourage you, watch this episode. She is very attractive, much more so than his first wife. My last comment on my notes to this is, you know what? Go with this. You obviously have a job.
That is
She recognizes you. The reason she gets out of bed, I'm just going to leave it up to all of you to watch this episode. There's a purpose for her getting out of bed. I would say, buddy, run with this one, because this one is a much better alternative than the first one. Is that fair?
It is fair. It's so fair to say that the last couple of videos we've done have broken our records. The sushi one that we just did is our highest viewed episode yet. If you're watching, please comment. What did you think about this? Because I want to desperately know what you think. Are they in the Matrix? What the hell is happening? I took it a totally different way.
I understand.
But I did take... But it's just like...
No, but it was her that was making the moves on him, not the other way around.
That's why I'm saying I want everyone... Just comment and tell us what you think. Go watch this episode and see it. But before we end this episode, we have kind of big news. So... Over the last couple of weeks, him and I were sponsors at Horror Fest, which is an event in Arizona that's absolutely fantastic. They have a lot of actors that are there. But anyway, we got to interview a bunch of people. This is super cool. Alex Zahara, you may recognize him from the freaking trailers of Final Destination Bloodlines.
I'm okay. It's okay. It's all right.
He is doing an episode with us. We're going to do an episode, and guess what? We thought we were just going to talk Twilight Zone because he loves the show. Yeah. He was in an episode of The Outer Limits, which is a more modern version. Yep. So please stay tuned. Go follow him. His name is Alex Zahara. He is the freaking best. I'm putting a picture up on the screen right now of us together with him. Such a cool guy. Thank you to all the people that put that together. But anyway, I had a blast at that event. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to it.
These were 2 great episodes. Thank you.
Absolutely, buddy.
I'm curious what people think about these 2.
Awesome template of what the Twilight Zone is.
I know that it comes down to the gimbal bearing. That's all I know. Look it up.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again. We will see you next week. I'm Steve.
I'm Kelly.
And we will see you in another dimension. Later, everybody.
Where is this place and when is it? The answer is it doesn't make any difference.
Can you say eggs?
Steve is.